Hey guys, good evening. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It is great to be with you guys today, actually, this evening on Inspirations for Your Life. Another great master topic. As you know, that's what kicks off on a Saturday. It is May 11th, 2024. Thank you so much for being here with me. Really do appreciate that. Of course, do check out my hat, believemeachieve.com, for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And be sure to give me some love and definitely follow me and like all my content, including following me on TikTok. Yes, so we can start streaming there as well. All right, guys. So whether you're here at 11:50 p.m., 11:50 a.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 6 a.m., 6 p.m., doesn't matter. Thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate that. Let's get right into what the master topic of the week is, and that is red light moments, finding meaning in life stops and starts. We are on series 3. We're on show 20, but the actual granular topic for tonight is what to do when you encounter a red light. Yes. Okay, so first of all, what is, according to Merriam-Webster, we'll go to Webster here, what is a red light? So according to Merriam-Webster, a red light, it's an adjective. It's a warning signal. It could be a traffic signal, but it's not just a traffic signal. It could be a warning in our life. There's a red light. There's something we need to take notice of because we need to change what we're doing. So, as Einstein would say, we keep doing the same thing over and over again. If we do the same thing over again and we expect different results, that's insanity. So, we want to change what we're doing so we'll get something different than what we have now. All right, guys. So we're on series 3, which means we're in the third year, show 20, episode 1. And, understanding what is a red light. And hopefully you guys understand that. So where do red lights happen? So, that's a great question. Red lights can happen anywhere in your life. Uh, they can happen in relationships. They can happen in business. They can happen in finances. They can happen in education. They can happen in volunteering. Um, they can happen in weather, right? They can happen in health. They also can happen on the road. Yeah, they can happen on the road. So a traffic light, we know that red means stop, yellow means slow down, and green means go. So green is go, yellow is slow down, and red means stop. But I don't know if you guys knew this, but about roughly a century ago, that's when they added the yellow light. They just had red and green. So people were like, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. And that was really a pain, right? So I think a lot of people, you know, they they do what they need to do with the traffic light and they pay attention to, which I think is great. But there's some people that don't. They just don't. They don't quite get it. And the reason they don't get it is because they think that they need to beat the light. You ever had these kind of drivers? I'm sure you have before. These are the drivers that basically they believe they're above the law. They believe that they need to try to beat the light. Yeah, they need to beat the light. And beating the light sounds easy to do, but you could also harm people. You could harm people from beating the light. And that's an issue. You know, that is definitely an issue. Um, and, a lot of people feel, well, gee, I could just squeak by, I could squeak by, I could squeak by. And they're hoping that everything will just be, fine. But the truth of the matter is, it's not fine. Um, it's really the fact that we need to be cognizant of what is going on. And, that might sound like something that's kind of wacky, but it's not. It's just being aware of what's happening. So, red lights in our life are not bad things. They're here to help us actually become better. Um, and so, we have to pay attention to what that means in our life. Okay. We have to pay attention what that means, why that happens, and why it doesn't happen. And the biggest thing I can tell you right now is that things will happen in your life to give you, hopefully, warnings. Okay. To give you warnings. And these warnings are something that I believe are pretty amazing. They hopefully will get you on track to what you need to do or where you need to be. All right. But for whatever reason, they might not be exactly, what you want at the moment. So you have to kind of change that out a little bit. And so tonight we're talking about, red lights. We're talking about what to do when you encounter a red light. Because like I said, it can happen in many places. So how do you know you have a red light? Well, really simple. If you're at a traffic light and it's not green, it's not yellow, chances are it's probably red. I will tell you that a red light also happens in relationships. Okay. So, how do we detect red lights in relationships? Well, a lot of times somebody invites you out, that's a green light, right? That you feel like you're good to go there. But what does it mean if that person then cancels and can't make up their mind about when to meet again, or they ghost you? Are they a yellow or are they a red? I'd say that's probably a red light. So red lights mean stop. Okay. Green lights mean go, and yellow just mean caution. Okay. I mean, we have to discern some points or whatnot. So green are things like common interests. They help you determine how to spend your free time. Common promises, they help you determine how you spend your life. Common values, they're what you're going to experience if you stay in the relationship at the moment. Yellow, again, no one's perfect. Maybe they're disorganized. It's difficult opening up with them, difficult about feelings. Maybe they have some things like ADHD, or maybe they're just a little controlling. That could be a yellow light, not necessarily red, but it could be a yellow. Maybe you need to regroup and think about, how you're treating them, how they're treating you, and just kind of go back. That can happen. Really strong on performance orientation. They want to appear strong and avoid vulnerability. They're a perfectionist. Okay. Some attempt to control you, avoidance of closeness, impatient, messiness, and nagging. Those are all yellows. Reds are he or she acts like they have it all together instead of admitting weakness and imperfection. Is focused more on the religion than the spiritualness. Is defensive instead of open to feedback. Apologize instead of changes. Avoid working on the problem. Always blame someone else. Remember, if you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. Demands trust instead of proving him or herself trustworthy. Lies instead of telling the truth. Is stagnant and not growing. Is an addict. Okay. How about duplicitous? Now you might be saying, John, I have no idea what duplicitous means. So let me try to make that easy. Okay. So duplicitous. Maybe they're an addict to something. Okay. That's a key sign that maybe it's a red light to be with them in a relationship. Okay. Duplicitous is someone who intentionally misleads people by saying different things to different people or acting in different ways at different times. The word can also describe actions of a person. A close synonym to it would be someone that's deceitful. So duplicitous, or deceitful is someone we do not want to have in a relationship with us. That's very, very important. All right. So thinking more about this, so those are all we call destructive personal traits. Then we have interpersonal traits. They avoid closeness. They think only about themselves instead of the relationship with the other person. They're controlling and they resist freedom. They try to always flatter the other person. They condemn everyone and they play one-ups or act like parentals. They're unstable over time. They're negative, and their influence is kind of wearing on you. They gossip. They're over jealous and suspicious. They negate pain and they're overly angry. Um, so now that you've got a little bit of a summary of what to look for, I think hopefully, a lot of times people stay in a relationship like, oh, it must be me. It must be me. No, it probably isn't you. It's probably the other person. So don't blame yourself if things aren't working out. It's a two-way street, right? Relationships are two-way streets. Sometimes we get very, let's say, riled up. Okay. So that's an important thing to note. When this happens, okay, this is probably the most important thing. What to do when you encounter a red light. First thing I want to tell you to do is just stop. Just stop what you're doing and take a deep breath, maybe one or two. It's also a perfect time for reflection. You see, people think that red lights mean things are over, but really what they mean is it's time to regroup. It's time to think about how something should be instead of how it is right now. Okay. And I know you're probably saying to me, John, I have no idea how to be alert for that. Well, you can be. Just pay attention. And so thinking about how you approach red lights. Let's talk about red lights in an intersection. If you go through a red light, that could be a serious accident, right? Not just for you, but it could harm somebody else too. So red lights are guidelines. So are the yellow lights, right? They're guidelines to keep us on track, right? Think of it like a GPS system, right? But they're a little stronger. When I say you got a red light or we got a red light on that deal, what does that mean? Well, it means the deal didn't go through. Maybe they were uncomfortable with us. Maybe they didn't like our price. Maybe they felt we were incompetent. Maybe they thought that we didn't listen to them. Maybe they thought we presented the wrong solution, right? These are all things that you can encounter. Red lights in a relationship. Somebody's constantly texting you like every day, like, where are you? How you doing? Or they're calling you every 5 minutes. That's like annoying. Or they're checking up on you. So, are you at work? Are you home? Like enough's enough, right? Enough. Like that could really get old, like very quickly, right? Um, and I think a lot of times people are afraid of red lights because they think if they get a red light that they must have done something wrong. No, a red light just means that you need to rethink about how to do it better. So maybe you're building something, right? And maybe when you build it, you notice that the floor joists or the walls they're weak, they're not holding. So that's a warning sign that you probably got to do something better before you put the sheetrock on, right? Maybe in hiring, maybe you hired somebody and maybe that person is, I don't know, they're placating you or they're giving you excuses, but they're really not getting the work done. Or they're telling you that this is the way it has to be, but that's not how it's been forever. It's like when somebody's recreating your world, when you know that your world for something is supposed to go a certain way, like in your own company or something like that. Also, people will get red lights when they're doing something new. It could be trying to lose weight. It could be people that are looking to volunteer. Sometimes we do something, and then when it doesn't happen, we pull away because we're scared and we're like fearful that we're going to damage something, but you're not. It's just that we have to get confidence in ourselves. And when we get confidence in ourselves, we're strong. But not only do we feel strong and feel great, other people around us see how great we are and how strong we are. I think that is an amazing thing, ladies and gentlemen. So embrace red lights, embrace green lights, embrace yellow lights, and use them as guides to help you get to where you want to be. If you never got a red light in life, you might say you'd be happy, but the truth of the matter is you wouldn't be learning a lesson. And what I've learned from many mentors a while back is if you don't learn a lesson, guess what? You cannot grow. You can't grow if you don't learn a lesson. That's a pretty amazing thing, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot grow unless you have learned a lesson. So note that if you're trying to be great at something, whether it's a baker, whether it's making a lot of money, whether it's a relationship, know that if you don't make mistakes, you're not going to get better. So let's say you're with a friend and maybe things went south because maybe you got so excited about the relationship and you monopolized it. And so maybe you took a step back and said, okay, yeah, that was my fault. And so you started to appreciate what you did because the other person maybe told you. Now, if you took that red light from somebody coming from you, that's not really a red, it's really a yellow. If you took that as a red light to stop, you might have ended the relationship. But when you back away, when you start to work on things, things change. Things change. See, when we put energy on something, it can blow up, either good or bad, depending on what it is. When we take our attention off something, when we take our energy off something, we find that whatever it was just starts to fade away. See, that's a very cool thing, ladies and gentlemen. Think about how your life would be different right now if you didn't get warning signs. A warning sign could be something simple like, maybe you're cooking on the stove and your hand's close to the flame. And so the warning sign is your hand's too close, like, you better move it because you're going to burn it, right? Another warning sign might be, you're filling up a jug of water. And the warning sign might be you're hearing it get to the top. And if you don't get to the top, it's going to tumble over and it's going to go over the sink. Another warning sign might be if you have somebody who's working for you and you feel that they're not being trustworthy, maybe you've got to trust them. Maybe you've got to find out that, maybe they're just scared. So there's always caution, but then when somebody does something over and over again, then they're not being genuine. They're not being true to themselves. See, I think that's the most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is to find out the truth. So a red light tells you the truth, a yellow light tells you the truth, a green light tells you the truth. If you're somebody that drives in the car and you always got to push through those yellow lights so that you won't get the red, you're probably living your whole life like that. So what we do in one part of our life is actually a direct mirror reflection of another part. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you this fantastic evening and the morning here of May 12th, 12:09 a.m. It's just great to be with you, and it's great to share nuggets of information. So please do like, love, support all my channels, especially TikTok, and I'll catch you guys, when? I'll catch you guys later tonight. All right. So have yourself a fantastic rest of your evening and morning, and I'll catch you real soon.